Let me start by making something very, very clear. This podcast is not an attack on American lobbies who are just doing their job. It is not an attack on consultants who are just taking care of their families. This is an indictment of a failed Nigerian political strategy, of a failed Tinubu strategy. And yes, it is also an indictment of the talkative Senate president, Godswill Obot Akpabio, who is implicated here. Because when a government spends $9 million to explain itself abroad, a poor African country, it has already admitted that it has failed at home. Failed woefully. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your Fiona show on YouTube. Today, we separate facts from opinions, policy failure from public relation panic. This is a scandal. It is a terrible scandal that Tinubu is now begging with $9 million in Washington, D.C. Issue 1. Let's go with confirmed facts. Confirmed facts. Facts. According to a report by the Africa Report, Nigeria hired DCI Group for a $9 million lobbying contract. That is about $750,000 per month. $750,000 a month. In Naira, do you know how much it is? More than 1 billion every single month. Man, now wow, in a country with multi-dimensional poverty. The contract was signed via Aster Legal on behalf of Nigeria's National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. Ribadu again, the hypocritic Ribadu again. Fact. The stated purpose, is to convince Washington that Nigeria is serious about protecting Christians and countering terrorism. Fact. This is the largest known African lobbying contract in history, on record. These facts are not in dispute. They are not. Issue 2. Ribadu, hypocrisy and credibility. This is my opinion. This is the opinion of Ofion Okwa. Now let me tell you clearly that in my view, Ribadu is not being truthful with President Trump about the depth of Nigeria's religious violence crisis and the collapsing Nigerian state. As Nigerians will say, it a lie. It a lie. Many Nigerians, including respected voices, accuse Ribadu of being an enabler or at minimum a silent bystander for years in the face of Islamic extremism. Let me give one example that haunts Nigeria. I'm not aware, and I stand to be corrected. That Nuhu Ribadu said a single public word when Deborah Samuel was brutally murdered by his classmates in Sokoto for saying in the class that she was a born-again Christian. She was murdered for the blasphemy. There was no national outrage from those greedy politicians in Nigeria. There was no moral clarity from Nuhu Ribadu. So when Washington is told that, Nigeria is protecting Christians, so my questions are simple. Protecting them when? When? In 2026? Protecting them where? And who is speaking for the dead here? Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a PR problem. This is a credibility problem. The Nigerian state is very weak and very hypocritic. That is the issue here. Issue 3. The lobbies, I repeat, the lobbies are not the problem at all. Let me be fair. The lobbies are just innocent professionals doing their job. As a matter of fact, I know about some of them. Some of them are actually very good people. They are not criminals. They are not responsible for Nigeria's failures. So when Nuhu Ribadu takes $9 million to go and beg them, that is Nuhu Ribadu's problem. As serious people, though, I would request from the lobbies that they should do one thing first. They should listen to Christian victims in Benue. In Benue, in the Middle Belt. Listen to families in Plateau. Listen to survivors in Southern Kaduna. Listen to the 3 Catholic bishops that were murdered in cold blood by Islamic terrorists. No amount of talking points can erase live trauma. This is not messaging. This is blood on the ground. Blood on the ground. Thousands, tens of thousands have died. Issue 4. I don't even think this will work, in my opinion. Now, this is my judgment, and I own it. This lobbying effort will not work. Why? I'll give you the reasons. Because Donald Trump has criticized Nigerian leadership before. Since his first term, he brought in Buhari to the White House, who looked like a dead man. Former President Muhammadu Buhari later recounted after that meeting that during his 2018 White House visit, Trump asked him directly, why are you killing Christians? This was asked to the Nigerian president. This is like Trump was in power in 2019 the first time. A claim Buhari himself made public in the 2020 interview that tells you everything. It looked like this magnetic act that is used to stop this greedy Nigerian perchance from getting visa is yielding fruit. It will sanction them. It will not allow them bring their children to come and study in the US. Big men now are sweating. They don't want consequences that follow them or their children. That's why they're taking $9 million of Nigerian money and coming to spend to beg in Washington, D.C. Issue 5, the street verdict. I talked to a lot of people. Let me read a quote, because Nigerians are very upset. Let me read a quote from a prominent Nigerian observer. Quote, this quote reflects public sentiment. Quote, they just chopped their money, $9 million. Over $100 million was wasted over the past 11 days in the US. It was a dollar fest, this lobbying. That lobbying firm would not do anything. The next strike at the terrorists is just around the corner. Unquote. That means Trump is coming again. This is not academic analysis. Sokoto is not the end. This is street realism. I am quoting the streets. I'm not telling you, I'm quoting the streets. Issue 6. Godswill Akpabio and the scandal shadow. This guy has no credibility. The Senate President Godswill Akpabio, and credibility matters in today's world. Separate US filings show lobbying linked to letters written on behalf of Senate President Godswill Akpabio. Letters. Akpabio is publicly tarred with scandal. The guy is a moving scandal. EFCC indictments that are still there. They are unresolved corruption allegations. A deeply contested political reputation. He has attack from everybody, including his own. You cannot convince Washington you are serious about reform while your messengers symbolize impunity. All you have to do is to look at Godswill. Is that the person representing Nigeria? Look at his problem, Natasha. All the problem is he all people screaming at him. Issue 7, poverty versus priorities. Here is the moral obscenity. Nigeria is ranked among the world's worst countries for multi-dimensional poverty. Millions without food, healthcare, education, or security. Yet, this government found $9 million using Ribadu's company and the people, or whatever is used, not to protect Nigerians, but to explain failure to Washington. That is not leadership. That is elite self-preservation. The big men in Nigeria are now in a protective mood. They want to dodge Trump so that they can continue. This is my closing final judgment. Let me end very clearly. Fact. Nigeria hired US lobbyists for $9 million. Fact. The goal is to reshape US perception, to lie. In my opinion, no. To the US opinion. This will not stop US pressure. This will not erase failure, governance failure. This will not silence the dead. Because legitimacy is earned on the ground. You cannot purchase it on Care Streets. Not on Care Streets. This is the Opinion Question on YouTube. I am the voice of the voiceless. I am your independent voice documenting what power hopes will stay quiet. I am telling fearless truths. I am Ophion Akwa. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Make we go.